It's easy to forget. It's easy to have never known. Almost 70 years ago, Americans took to the sky to defend our freedom and help save the world from oppression. The efforts of the young men and women flying in these combat aircraft helped bring an end to World War II. What was it like to fly in these planes? How did it feel to move around in them? What did they sound like? Each year, the Collins Foundation sends its World War II airplanes around the United States to honor our veterans and to connect this history with the public. It's a history lesson that is truly unforgettable.
The Wings of Freedom Tour, we're on our 19th year of supporting this educational effort by taking 3 World War II bombers and now a World War II fighter on a national tour that starts in Florida, goes all over the United States. Last year we did 130 cities with these bombers. We spend 10 months a year out on the road and 2 months a year in maintenance. So we get millions and millions of people to come out and see and feel and touch and hear what it's like to be in a World War II bomber or fighter and meet the veterans, hear their history, and be able to repeat and carry on this legacy. This is largely the culture of who was an American at that time and what made us great.
One of the things about having these airplanes fly around the United States is that people get to see them, hear them, touch them, whereas the negative part of having them sit in a museum is, one, they're not accessible to everybody. Not everybody can go find the museums. They can't touch them when they get there. They can't walk through them when they get there. They can't hear them when they're there. Here they are able to do all of that.
One primary goal is to share with the American people what it really meant to us to have these airplanes to give us the freedom we have today. And the old saying is, freedom's not free. Well, these are what the men and women of World War II used to keep us the lifestyle of freedom that we have in America.
One of the most popular and recognizable planes of World War II is the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress, a 4-engine heavy bomber made famous for flying very dangerous daylight missions over Germany during World War II. The Foundation's B-17G was built in April 1945, too late to see combat, but it was part of an Air-Sea Rescue Squadron and later the Military Air Transport Service. The Foundation acquired this B-17 in 1986.
A lot of guys fought and died in these airplanes. A lot of men and women sacrificed their lives to build them and get them to the front. And to actually get in the airplane and actually fly it, it's truly an honor. And it's a great flying airplane. It's a pilot's airplane.
Today, it tours the country painted as the famous 909. The original 909 completed an astounding 140 missions without loss or abort. Consolidated B-24 Liberator flew in all theaters of the war. Over 18,000 of these heavy bombers were built, the largest production run of any military aircraft in American history. The Collins Foundation's B-24 saw combat in the Pacific Theater. The Foundation acquired this B-24 in 1984. After an extensive 97,000-hour restoration, the Collins Foundation's fully restored B-24J took to the air in 1989. This B-24 is painted with markings that commemorate the B-24 Witchcraft that flew an incredible 130 missions in Europe and never had a crew member injured or killed. The North American B-25 Mitchell played an important role in the war, flying missions in all theaters. The most notable mission this medium bomber would partake in was the Doolittle Raid. Lieutenant Colonel James Doolittle led a group of 16 B-25s launched from an aircraft carrier to raid Japan early in the war. The Collins Foundation acquired their B-25 in 1984. This airframe was used in the States for flight training during the war and never saw combat.
The B-25 is one of the most exciting airplanes to fly because it's one of the most powerful bombers for its size out there. It is not a stable airplane like a commercial aircraft, so you have to be hands-on with the aircraft all the time. It's as close to flying a dragster as you can fly. The rate of acceleration is tremendous. The rate of roll is very strong. It flies like a fighter, not like a strategic bomber.
The Foundation's B-25 is painted in markings to honor the famous B-25 Tondileo that flew a harrowing mission in New Guinea. After attacking targets in Rabaul, the original Tondileo and sister ship fought off more than 40 Japanese fighters while limping home on one engine. The crew's bravery and endurance earned them the Silver Star. The newest acquisition of the Wings of Freedom Tour is a rare two-seat, dual-control P-51C Mustang. This is the only P-51C in existence today that has a full set of dual controls. Fast, well-made, and able to fly long distances, the P-51 Mustang became one of the world's most successful and recognizable fighter aircraft. The P-51s were the first fighters to escort Allied bombers all the way to targets deep into Germany and back. The Foundation's P-51C was named Betty Jane to honor Colonel Charles M. McCorkle, a P-51 pilot and commander of the 31st Fighter Group. McCorkle was a fighter ace with 11 confirmed kills. The Collins Foundation's dual-control P-51 allows both pilots and non-pilots to get a little stick time in an unprecedented training flight. There's a saying in the warbird community that characterizes the effort of the Wings of Freedom Tour: keep 'em flying. It takes enormous effort and resources to keep these planes in the air. It is all made possible by the hard work, interest, and contributions of people across the country.
When you use an airplane as often as we do and so forth, it uses up parts and stuff like that. So it's a constant maintenance program all the time. Not only fixing stuff that's broken, but normal inspections that are required at different intervals.
The tour's extensive maintenance requirements ensure not only that these planes stay in the air, but also that they are absolutely safe for the crew, passengers, and viewing public.
We're on a progressive maintenance, what's called a progressive maintenance program. It's approved by the FAA to maintain the aircraft. So when we're not flying them, we're working on them. They're constantly being inspected, worked on. Things are changed, brakes, tires. If any infrastructure work that needs inspected and needs done, we take care of. And everything is done on the road. If we need anything shipped in, we can ship it in. And And like I say, our maintenance program was pretty extensive, so they're probably safer than any airplane you'd normally fly on in a jet fleet.
Expert mechanics, machinists, and technicians come from all over the country to assure the aircraft are kept in top flying condition.
The main landing gear tires on this cost about $5,000 a piece. It's almost as much for the nose gear tires. They have to be specially made, and even retreads are very expensive for it. Brakes are getting harder to find, although airframe parts are plentiful, but the parts are expensive.
Parts fabrication and operational expenses are just some of the issues that come into play, keeping the planes airworthy. When the tour stops close to a veteran flyer's home, men who fought in the planes are reunited with the aircraft that they risked their lives in years ago.
There were just many, many emotions that went through me that kept bringing back memories of what had happened at different times.
I think it's quite important. I'd like to see them see the things that I've told them about at times, experience going through them, and see how they work and how they function. And I just think it's important that they'd have memories of that.
On the Wings of Freedom tour, veterans get a chance to touch the past, while at the same time making the experience even more priceless for everyone there.
Well, I think it's just great because I'm touring these planes, and then I have my grandpa by my side, like telling me all these stories about each one of these planes, and it's just like I'm living kind of like a World War II experience, kind of just touring it.
So you see the veterans bring their generations of families out. You know, I've seen like 5 generations of people come out here, from little kids and toddlers, and to great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather come out to show them the airplane and show them what they did, you know, during the war and the sacrifices they made. And that's really heart-wrenching. And I love listening to the stories that the veterans tell. I think that's one of the main reasons I like to come out here as much as I come out here.
Often it is the children or grandchildren that come out to honor their fathers or mothers who have passed on.
My dad passed away in January. This is where we cry. Yeah. And so we did this for him, and now I know why he couldn't hear very well. And I just have more admiration for him now than before, because even though we admired him a lot.
Well, my husband died just a year ago, and I know he would have gone up in a second. So his ashes are in Arlington because he can. And I had a little teeny bit of locket with his ashes in it. So I took my husband for a ride with me.
Hearing these incredible stories from our veterans while touring through or flying in these aircraft makes a lifelong impression on all who have come to experience the Wings of Freedom. The Wings of Freedom Tour is an experience in history that can be found nowhere else in the world. It's an event that enables Americans to learn more about our heritage through direct participation. Keeping these aircraft flying across the United States provides a unique opportunity to honor those who sacrificed for our freedoms and to keep these amazing pieces of history alive for generations to come.